Welcome back. So today I'm going to be doing this Sofia Richie wedding day makeup look. So prior to like a couple of days ago, I had no idea who Sofia Richie was. I'm not gonna lie. But all of a sudden she was everywhere. She was getting married. Something to do with, is it Lionel Richie? Nicole Richie? Is that her sister? But I do know who did her makeup, and that is Miss Pati Dubroff. So Miss Pati Dubroff, oh, she's a god. She's a goddess. She is amazing. Big influence on me. Love her stuff. Her stuff is always so glowy, so natural, so skin focused. Pati Dubroff has worked with Nars. She's the ambassador for Wellita skincare brand. And she's a Chanel makeup artist currently. And so she's always like cranking out these beautiful Chanel looks. She does Margot Robbie's makeup for most events. She does Elizabeth Olsen's makeup for most events. She's just it. Like, she just knows what she's doing. But anyways, she did the makeup for Miss Sofia Richie, and she looked beautiful. Like, this is like what every bride wants to look like on her wedding day. Glowy, natural. It looks like you, but just a little bit more, like, enhanced. And to me, like, I think that this is also a very approachable, like, everyday look. Like, it's very attainable to do this kind of look in some sort of way every single day. And I think those are the best bridal makeup looks. Looks like them, but just a little bit more enhanced. And I think that this look is just the pinnacle of beautiful makeup. Like, it's so good. So I was super inspired to recreate this look because I found out that I had some of the products that she used, and that just inspired me, and I just wanted to do it because it's just so skin focused and blush focused, and it's just beautiful. So let's just get into it. So we're gonna see how long my hair stays in this little bun. My bangs are quite short right now, but I'm going to be starting with some color correcting. I'm going to be going in with the new Prisme Libre by Givenchy. This is their new green color corrector, and I'm still, you know, like, getting my bearings on this. But from what I have, you know, just from looking at pictures, and also Pati Dubroff hasn't really said anything about using a foundation. She kind of didn't really talk about, like, the complexion products she used, but it doesn't look like she used any sort of foundation. And if she did, it was a very, very natural and or like skin tint. But I'm having a little bit of like irritation today, so I'm just gonna go in with this. And this gives such a, like, a beautiful, like, radiant finish without being too dewy and or tacky. Like, this dries down, but it's not matte. So I really like that about it. And yeah, I'm still, like, getting my thoughts on it, but so far I really like it. And it seems to, like, you know, do its job. Oh, and before I forget, I want to mention how I prepped my skin. So before I do any sort of like event makeup on myself or for someone else, I always go in with an essence, a hydrating serum, and the Embryolisse Late Cream Concentrate cream as like a base, and I let that sit for about 10 minutes, like really soak into the skin. Those are the only things that I had on my skin before I put on the Givenchy green color corrector. Now I'm gonna go in with my cream bronzer. This is the Nars Laguna bronzer, and this is in the shade 01. So Pati used the Makeup by Mario Skin Perfector bronzer thing, balm that they have, and I don't have that, but from what I've observed other people like looking like, or how this like product applies on the skin, this seems like it's a more pigmented formula. So we're gonna do, like, you know, the best we can. I'm gonna take this old Kat Von D brush. This is a shade in light. I'm just gonna take the little like angled side. And so I'm going out of order because we're going to attempt this as more of like a natural wash of color. And so this is considered like underpainting. So you're creating the light and shadow underneath of the complexion products, like your concealer and or foundation. And so it kind of diffuses out and looks a lot more natural. This is a technique used by a lot of makeup artists. I'm not sure if Pati did this when she did Sofia Richie's makeup, but this is what I would do. So Sofia didn't look all that bronzed. It actually looked pretty natural. Like her skin looked more of like a blush focused look, more so than a bronzed focused look. So I'm not gonna go in too heavy with this. I'm just gonna kind of do a wash around the perimeter of my face. And then I'm gonna take it up into my eye, up along the brow bone, and kind of flicker it up past the tail of my brow, whatever is left on the brush. Okay, and now going in with concealer, I'm going to be taking two concealers. I'm going to be taking the Dior Skin Forever, or Forever Skin Correct. I'm going to be taking the Nars Soft Matte Concealer. I almost said creamy concealer, but that's a different one. I'm gonna do like a little dibbly dab of both of these and kind of spot conceal like little areas. Conceal like little areas that need a little more coverage, and kind of work around that bronzer that I have down so that it all kind of like melts together. And these are two very like high coverage concealers. So I'm trying my best to work in very light layers and work slowly to make sure that everything is blended out, because you don't want certain parts of your face to look just not matching skin-wise with the rest of your face on your wedding day, you know what I mean? But yeah, I'm just gonna be doing that. I'm taking the Nars first because it is a little bit more matte, and just lightly spreading this around. I'm using the Roen Beauty concealer brush for this. This is one of my favorite brushes because you can really like get up in there underneath the eye. So I'm taking this Nars one as more of like my overall face concealer, because it does match my skin a little bit better than the Dior one. The Dior one's a little too light for me, but I'm gonna use that one as my brightening concealer. Now going in with the Dior, I'm just gonna take two tiny little dots just right here, not directly into the hollow of my eye because I don't want too much product there. Because if there's too much product there, then it'll start creasing and look kind of crepey. So we're just gonna do light dabs and then down the side and then over. And this is gonna brighten up my face. Down the nose. Get some of that redness out of here. See, that's like instantly awake. And then we're just gonna marry the products. So going in with a larger brush here, I'm just kind of patting everything together, making sure that it's all like blended, like there's no spots coming up. And remember, working this like thinly and sporadically, you can always go in and add more in certain areas. Like, it's easier to add more than it is to take away. So just remember that when applying your complexion products. And for brows, I'm actually gonna do my brows today. I'm gonna be going in with an old trusty. I have this like cute little mini one now. I don't know what happened to my full size, but it's the Anastasia Beverly Hills Brow Definer, and I use this in brown. I think it's soft brown. Oh, it's soft brown. And I'm just gonna do a little bit. So I'm just gonna comb everything up and just make sure not to overdo it. Like, this is a very soft look. Like Sofia Richie looked like she had like already like pretty thick brows, so they were probably just defined like a little bit, which is what I'm gonna do today. One thing I like about this brow product is the shape of it. So it's like that like kind of pointy point. So if you already have like kind of thicker brows, it can make the process go pretty fast. Like, I don't mind a very thin one, but I understand why people who don't have a lot of brows prefer that, because you can get more like hair-like strokes with that, where this one is like kind of like chunky and, you know, it could go overboard pretty quick for someone who doesn't have a lot of brows. But for me, I kind of prefer the more chunky one because it just kind of gets the job done a little quicker for me. And to finish off the brows, I'm going to be taking the Benefit the Fluff Up Brow Wax. This is a new product to me. This is only my second time using it. And this kind of seems like the effect of her eyebrows. Like, her look wasn't like super laminated, and her brows weren't super defined. They just looked thick and, you know, natural. So I think these two products together will give me that effect. I don't think this product is really anything special. It just kind of fluffs, and it doesn't really have like any type of like crazy hold. It just kind of fluffs them. But yeah, if you're going for like a natural soft brow, I think that this product would be good. Good for that effect. And now on to cheeks. So she used 2 nude stick blushes, and I have one of them. So I have Sunkissed. It's this perfect, like, I mean, Sunkissed is just like what it is. Like, it makes you look like you've been in the sun, but in like a good way, you know? And so I'm gonna attempt to not do my typical draping and kind of concentrate it, ooh, hair, and kind of concentrate it more in the middle of the cheek, the way the pictures show. And I'm taking the more blushy, fluffy side of this brush. I love Kat Von D brushes. They're just so good. And this, I've had this for like 8 years, and it's still holding up. And so I'm just patting this into the middle part of my cheek. I'm gonna take this up onto my forehead a little bit as well, just so it looks a little bit more natural. And the sun keeps peeking in and out, so I'm not sure the quality of the lighting in here. Now, I didn't have the second blush shade that Pati used, which is the shade Picante, which is this very, I don't want to say fluorescent, but it's a very pure orange. And I looked all through my collection, and I actually don't really have like a bright orange blush and or lipstick. But I think the closest thing that I could maybe replicate, and it's just going to be like a little dibbly dab, and this is the Tom Ford blush in, what is the actual name of this? Tom Ford Shade and Illuminate blush in Peach Poison. So this is a very expensive blush that I definitely do not use enough. And so I'm just going to be using this very bright peachy shade, but just like a dab of it. And I'm going to just kind of put that right here. Because when Picante is blended out, it does read slightly more peach than it does orange. I'm just gonna kind of knock it back with the other side of the brush. Yeah, and this blush does have a luminescence to it. And Pati didn't really use any powders on her, but I think this will give a the closest effect that we can get to having picante. Okay, so for the eyes, I'm just gonna take a little bit more of my bronzer here and kind of define my base for my eye look. Yeah. Pati used a Chanel cream shadow that I do not have. And then for the top, like the topper, she used a discontinued Chanel eye gloss. It's like a golden eye gloss. And so I'm actually gonna like bring this into the kind of little hollows here for a little extra chiseling. Kind of bring this out and a little bit under. Just kind of lightly diffuse everything. You can bring that down a little bit. Mix a few things. So I have this Charlotte Tilbury quad, and this is the Flawless Eye Filter Luxury Palette. And this has a really beautiful bronzy brown shade. So what it looked like she had was like this kind of goldeny brown, but still like ethereal and natural looking. So I'm gonna take just this little bit, just a dab, because these shadows can get pretty pigmented. So I'm just gonna take like a little dab it onto the back of my hand, and just run it onto the lid to kind of set that cream bronzer and add a little bit of dimension. Okay, and so since the other part of the eye look is not available for purchase, which was the Chanel glossy balm eyeshadow topper thing, what I'm gonna do is take a balm highlight. So I'm gonna be using another Nudestix product, and this is a Nudies Glow in the shade Bubbly Bebe. It's this nice, like, kind of champagne-y golden color, and it gives you this balmy, wet-looking effect. She did use the Baume Essentiel multi-use stick, but I have one, but it's a little too, like, pinky bronze with some red in there, so I don't think this would really go with the look. So I think the next thing that's a little similar to the formula and effect would be this Nudestix product. So what I'm gonna do is take some on my finger here and just pat it ever so lightly on my lids. Okay. And then what I'm gonna do is take my Roen 75 degree palette, and there's this beautiful gold. Now, I'm not gonna take like full swipe because there are a lot of like different sized golden glitters in this, so I'm just gonna like take it ever so slightly on my finger and put that on top of the balm so it adheres in like this glossy way. And even Pati said that like the best way to make like a golden glossy balm is to take like a balmy product, like a balm highlighter or something like that, and to mix a golden eyeshadow in it. But these Roen eyeshadows already have that type of emollients in it, so just adding the balm there just kind of intensifies the wet look of it. And you don't need a lot. Like, she didn't really have like a huge like layer of it. It's just like this like almost kiss of gold. Like, it wasn't really the star of the show. Like, the cheeks and like the skin were definitely like the main parts of the look. So the eyes were super, super subtle. Okay, I'll zoom you in so you can kind of see. Like, just very simple, very like, just a hint of color. Okay, so I just put on the Tower 28 Make Waves mascara, and I think the eyes just need something like a little bit like brightening, like in the inner corner. So I'm gonna take this like goldeny kind of champagne shade in the Charlotte Tilbury palette and take this little brush, this little pointy brush, and just put it in the inner corner here and kind of bring it up just to kind of open my eyes a little bit. Yeah, that's what I wanted. Yeah, that makes a difference. Sometimes that's all you need, is just like a little like inner corner, a little bit up by the brow bone. You just need like a little inner corner highlight to kind of open up the look a little bit. So for the lips, she took like a contour-esque shade. So today I'm going to be going in with MAC Oak and just outlining my lips ever so slightly. So there have been a lot of like debate online of like what was her actual like actually on her lips, and a lot of people were saying that it was Chanel Boy, but it didn't look like Chanel Boy to me. Like it was way too peachy, it was way too like nude colored, and Chanel Boy is it's beautiful, but it's very much so like a gray beige and has a little bit of like shimmer in it, if I'm correct. I used to own it, but I don't know what happened to it. So it's kind of on a repurchase. It's like in my inventory in my brain of things to repurchase, but it's not Chanel Boy. And then she posted a picture of her using something on Sofia's lips that was definitely not in the Chanel Boy formula. It was in this formula here. And so these are the Rouge Coco Balm, and she used, I think, like Pink Delight or something, but I don't have that shade. I have Natural Charm, which is like a more dark, it's a like a deeper version of that. It's more of like a pinky-esque, peachy beige kind of nude, you know, like colors that I wear. So to get it to that more like peachy-esque color, that Pinky Delight or whatever the name of it is, I'm gonna use this in the Nars Afterglow lip balm in the shade Torrid. So Torrid is this beautiful like peachy sheer, very beautiful, and then that is Natural Charm in Chanel. So I'm first gonna go in with this and just kind of use that as a thin base layer, and then I'm gonna go in with Natural Charm and just go on top of that, but like more in the middle. See? And that made just such a more like pinky peach version of this nude lipstick. See, the hair's sneaking out. There she goes. Okay, so to finish everything off, I'm going to go back in with Bubbly Bebe and just really drench that onto a brush and then tap that onto the highest point of my cheekbone. Very lightly, because you don't want to pick anything up, because this is a very sticky formula. Between this and the Chanel balm, like the Baume Essentiel, I do prefer the Chanel, I'm not gonna lie. But this is, I think, the closest thing that I can get to the effect of what she had her skin looking like. Okay, and I just put on a little bit more lip liner since those two other products were kind of emollient. It kind of like moved everything around. And so, yeah, that is the completed look. I think I did a pretty good job of matching the makeup without having the actual products in front of me. I was so stoked that she used Sunkissed. Like, this is just like my favorite blush. If it was my wedding day, I think I would have done a little bit more bronze and packed on this without Picante, but you know, to each their own. Yeah, that is it. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!